In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Prayer to Saint Rita. O glorious Saint Rita, you who did share in a marvelous manner the sorrowful passion of our Lord Jesus Christ, give me the grace to suffer in patience the miseries of this life, and be my refuge in all my necessities. Amen. Saint Rita, pray for us. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, so good morning, everyone.
Morning,
Good
Dam.
morning, Dam.
Morning. I'm expecting that there will be four of you, but Joy has some problems with her requirements. Although she already paid naman her past dues, no? Ang yara jud nga koan sa Southwest, which has been a problem ever since pa sa first year niya. So hopefully she can be able to join us kay kung yung mahimo tulon na lang jud mo ani sa research. Ako siyang gip ko ano nga kung pwede mahangyo na mo ang dean. At least there are four of you who will make a research paper. So, welcome to research and tourism. Actually, what I'm teaching you right now is like the general jud siya nga way of doing research. Now, regardless if it's business research or or it's tourism research or if it's research sa education, pareha sa man na sila tanan og process. No, ang difference lang is the of course the discipline, no, the topic that you're going to pursue, the title, no, and it also depends what kind of research are you going to pursue. No, if you're going to use quantitative research, qualitative, no, other students will be very so what they call this ambitious pero kanang they would like to challenge themselves, so they would often go to mixed method or in quali-quanti approach, no. And then sa quantitative naapon na siya lain no, you have experimental, non-experimental, no, nya sa experimental na adira ang non-experimental na adira ang descriptive, no, na ay like longitudinal, no, or based on time frame, based on purpose. So later on, we will also get to know, maybe in chapter 2, we will get to know what are the different kinds of research. So right now, I'm just going to introduce to you what is research. And then, pinaka-basic dyan nga types, which is quantitative versus qualitative. Because oftentimes you would hear that when you talk about research, no? Are you doing a qualitative paper or quantitative? Unsa man imuhang method, no? And also variables. So because it is important to introduce you to variables because in your title, sometimes no, the dependent and independent variable must be present, but it's not mandatory. No. Okay, for example, if it's like a feasibility study, no, naa may cases nga dili siya need nga present si independent o si dependent variable, no. My study doesn't have an independent variable because it doesn't have like a cause and effect kind of murag process, no. Ang ako is more of an like assessment or evaluation, which is if you would like to pursue that, that's okay, no. Masayunan ko kung evaluation or assessment because you will just have to make like a checklist. A certain destination fits the requirements that you are trying to propose, no. Like for example, you want agritourism to be like implemented, or let's say kanang i-develop sa San Carlos City. So what are the things that San Carlos City must prepare in order to promote agritourism or things like that, no. Sa ko it's MICE tourism man, so later on we are going to learn more about MICE as well, no. Pwede po mo mag-study og kuan. Kaya it's more of like a feasibility study or assessment man gud, no. If you would like to pursue like the cause and effect kind of process, pwede man, no. Just make sure that your independent and dependent variable is present in your research title. So that's a lot to take in, no. So hinay-hinay ra ta. Right after this, is if we still have time, I'm also going to teach you how to look for good research titles. Actually, dili man dyan na siya ingon nga kanang you have to really make your own from your own ideas. No, sometimes you can get ideas from the internet. No, we were taught last time when we had our research conference nga you can look for other schools, Ivy League schools, unsa ang mga best um research topics related to tourism or related to hospitality, and then from there you'll get an idea. And you try to look at Google Scholar if daghan kaayong mga references ana nga topic. Kay kung maghimo po mo og title class nga few lang ang related literature, no, or references online because you need literature man gud to support your research paper. If you rapod na siya sa Google Scholar, paglantaw ninyo, then don't pursue the title. Another thing that you need to also remember if you're going to, let's say, look for a research title, it has to be like it's easy for you to implement, no, nga kanang dili pod siyang anak kadako, no, nga maglisod ka. No, po na akong experience before nga kani ako ang study is city wide jud siya nya, dayon wala lang siya nag-cover og one sector alone, like daghan kayo, you have events, you have conventions, and then lain-lain pa jud na siya, no, you have like different A's of tourism, naapay like scientific and educational nga part, na ay business, na ay sports and entertainment, na ay arts and cultural. So, daghan kaayo og variables present, no? So, um, I try to look for a thesis title that is doable on your part, but it's practical, meaning doable siya in the sense nga napod siya sense, no? Dili siya ingon nga kanang sayon ra kay, like for example, na mga title nga, the effects of online distance learning towards the academic performance. It's not a college level kind of research paper, no? Kana pong kuan, kanang makaya ninyo, pero it can really make an impact as well, no? So, sige lang, no? Most an anyong first nga palibgon usa karon, no? Right now, you have to think within this week because again, we are only given one semester to finish your research paper, and to be honest, no, that's actually a challenge on my part. When I teach research, no, I have been teaching research for 5 years. It usually took me a year to finish, no, help finish the students make a research paper. And then sa kuan sa nakasulay ko sa una one semester. Kindly mute your microphone. Okay. Nakasulay ko sa una one semester, pero um dili pa to siya ingon nga ang thorough jud nga format, no, kuan pa kaayo to siya class. Medyo may pagka nipis-nipis pa to siya kay wala pa nako gi-insert ang ethical considerations, wala pa to ethical clearance. Unlike karon sa senior high nga mas ning evolve siya into a better research paper, it usually took them like a year, most especially that it's online. Now, we will try our best not to finish within a semester because you will have your internship in the second sem. I do hope that if ever no nga na ay mga activities along the way, do not get sidetracked. Mo na siya kung gina-advise sa estudyante. You have to make research as your priority. Pinaka-top priority. Treat your subjects as your priority, pero pinaka-top do sa tanan is ang research. My senior high school students knows this, no? Murag, ang uban, dili na kayo nila ikuan so focus just sa research because they have to really finish it before they graduate. It's that important. Okay, so again, welcome to Introduction to Research. So, just a bit of background about research. Research actually improves the quality of life. People do not really appreciate how research has made an impact in society because all we see is, businesses thriving, schools and all, but behind that, no, ang ilahan jud nga foundation why they make such good decisions, why they make better strategies is because of research. Even in marketing, if you can still remember, how can you deliver quality products and services if you did not do your research and try to understand what are the needs and wants of your consumers? You need to do thorough research, no? That's why I disagree with I was actually quite irritated with Villar, no, when she said nga ngayon daw kuno nga baliw na baliw kuno taan na nga research nga in fact research has been in the academe for not really that long, no, I remember my parents did not have a thesis, but it really makes a difference, no. The generation now that knows how to do a thesis is different from the previous generations before nga they were only tasked to make like a paper or concept paper, or for example like unsa to iyahang ingon ni mama sa una ay nga mura siya og kanang like a summary of their internship or sa ilahang murag field trip, and then more na ilang isubmit, no, as a requirement before they graduate. It's really different because research brings out critical thinking skills, no. And what I appreciate about it when I studied in graduate school, because in graduate school they done it correctly, Unlike when I was in college, gilamo-lamo ra, we weren't actually um taught very well or to help appreciate research. Kana gani, oh, mo ni siya ang format ha, submit no mo next week niya. We don't have really an idea what research is, how important it is, asa may magsugod, unsa nga title ang nindot i-pursue, no, gapataka ra jud mi ato sa una, which is why that is what I would like to correct when I taught research in senior high and now that I'm teaching in college, because it's different, no, it's a scientific process, and it's difficult, no, but it brings out your critical thinking skills, which I really appreciate. No, when I studied in graduate school and when I began my thesis writing, I realized I was really unprepared. No, college did not prepare me enough for graduate school. So when I continued to do my research paper, and then with the help, actually, I'm really quite blessed because we have our dean, who is we had a hate and love relationship with our dean Manggod, because our dean in graduate school is so strict. Onya kanang na usahay nga maghilak ka, no, usahay mo na lang siyang i-curse sa pagka stricto niya. He doesn't really care that it's the pandemic, you have to travel every day just to, yan naman siya yung mga revisions and the disappointment that you get because your paper has to be revised over and over again, no, walay kahumanan. But the training that I got from him helped me so much that I was able to also, share what I learned to my students, and at the same time, I was able to also perform well when I was given the opportunity to present my research paper internationally, so kakot award jud to ang UNOR, and that's like a testament, or kuan siya nga ni manifest jud to tanan ang katong training nga among na-receive ato nga institution. So this is what I would like also to do with you. No, I would like to also, it's difficult, maglisod mo ka, it's your first time, wala man jud na ingon nga expert dayon, but I would like you to appreciate how important this is, and I would like to also help you out on how to make a good research paper in the correct way. Okay? So research is the process of obtaining information. Sorry, wala ko nakita de. Di mo ko nagkan. Okay. So research is the process of obtaining information to seek solutions to problems. It's called, no, research. No. It may also involve formulating a tentative answer to research questions. This tentative answer is called hypothesis, which may be tested and verified by engaging in research. If I were to summarize research in the simplest way, it's like I would like to know what is the solution to this certain kind of problem. Or if I would like to know if our city is fit to become like a tourist destination, how do I know that we met this criteria? How do I know what is the solution to this problem? So, what I will do is I will raise 5 questions, Abby, for example. So I will raise 5 or 3 essential questions that by the end of my research, these 3 questions will be answered through a survey questionnaire. So, mag-raise ko tulo ka questions, and then in the process of finding solution to those 3 questions or answers to those 3 questions, mangita ko og other researchers nga nag-conduct na og research before nako. Nya kani mga research nga ilang gi-conduct is related to my study. I can't just look for resources online and just paste it in my research paper and just call it, oh, this is are my references. No, you have to really, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, wherein you have to really evaluate, read. No, kay na may uban nga nindot kay title, oy, related ni sa akong study kay I'm studying agritourism, or my topic is all about tourism, no, mo ni ako ang thesis. Tourism tuod siya pero dili siya totally in line sa imong study, kay for example, imuha is more on the potentiality. You're assessing if you are ready to have like tourism in your in your city, no? Pero ang kani siya nga tourism is ga-improve og attractiveness. So it's not really in line to what you're trying to study. So basa na pud ka. No, that is why it's important to have like 8 group, i-grupo jud mo kay para at least ba makaano mo nga na ako'y kauban na nga motabang na kog look for resources. So mo man na siya, you cannot write anything if you do not read. So it's really important that when when you think of a research title, you have to make sure that when you go to Google Scholar, daghan siyang supporting references. Kay at the end of chapter 1, sa chapter 2 ninyo manggod, puno na siya og references from other researchers. Kay nga naman, for example, if we'd like to prove something, or if sa imuhang 3 questions gi-post kanina, no, na kay like essential questions that you would like to be answered by the end of your research paper, no? Unya, you would like to prove something nga out of this study. I believe nga si San Carlos City has the potential to become a MICE destination. Nga naa siya potential to become like, or to become the center of agritourism. So in order to support that kind of like ko ano nga akong hypothesis man na siya nang mag ako ang future nga pagkuan sa result nga mo ni siya. I would like to know if ready ba San Carlos City to offer agritourism or become a MICE tourism destination. Now, for me, I know it's ready. So how do or for me, I know it's important for a city to become an agritourism or MICE tourism because it's like a driving force no sa economy, maka-improve siya sa economic stability sa lugar, maka-promote siya og kanang more jobs, no, ma-highlight ang syudad. So yung ana ka importante nga no, gusto jud ko mabalaan nga ready ba ang syudad nga mahimog mais tourism or agritourism kay this sector is so important makatabang siya og daghang tao if we are to become or if our city is to become a mais tourism. So for me to support that idea, mangita ko resources. O mangita kag resources, support na siya. And then afterwards ana, methodology na pod. What are your methods in getting your answer? Dira na ka no. Unsay research instrument imong gamiton, kinsa imong respondents, how do you compute the results of your survey questionnaire? And then ang pinaka last is once you have the results already, imuha na siyang i-tabulate. Once ma-tabulate nimo na siya, imong i-interpret. Like based on the data, daghan ba ang ning agree nga naay potential among syudad to become like a center of agritourism or a MICE tourism destination, or daghan ang ning disagree. Afterwards, from those like interpretation, draw in a conclusion. No nga, therefore, San Carlos City has met all the requirements and ready na siya for to become an agritourism destination or a MICE tourism destination. And then, that's it, no? More siya ng entire process of research. Um, that way, when you prove something and you already have like a conclusion, you have like a solution to all those three questions you posed in the first chapter, ipakita ni mo na sa city tourism office nga, uy, si San Carlos City ba has all the requirements man di ay to become like an agritourism destination or a MICE destination. So, it's up to you, no, sa LGU on what to do with the findings of my study. So, they will sing, uy, ready naman San Carlos City di ay. So, mag-start at pangita og investors, no, stakeholders that will help us develop San Carlos City to become a MICE destination because we can present to them that we can support that claim that we are ready because nanining conduct og study. So see, that's how important research is, no? And again, just from a simple question out of your mind, what if San Carlos City can become like an agritourism or MICE tourism destination? And once you do that, you conduct research and you have the findings already, you can present that to the LGU. Ma'am, what if na bali ang results, ma'am? Ang results noon is more on dili pa ready San Carlos City. Still, you can present that to the LGU and then you inform them nga, uy, I have this kuan ba nga, I would like to know if San Carlos City is ready to become like an agritourism or MICE tourism destination. But in my findings, it's not. So, based ako ang study ba, in what way man ta nga mahimo ta already, asa man ta nga mga sector needs to improve. So, nadiri sa ko ang findings. So, it's up to you to work on it, no, to take action. So, nabi sila nga, ala, kailangan pa dito mo improve sa accommodation sector, no, kay kulang pa tong accommodation, or for example, trained farmers, no, or for example kanang trained people jud to develop like agritourism because few pa lang ang ato ang like knowledge on that sector o things like that, no. So wag mo na ilahang murag basis bang oy based ay siyang study kulang pa di ay og mga right people to develop this kind of tourism kay tungod of course, no, wala pa kay na siya to gi-explore nga kind of sector. And then why would we invest in this project nimo, no? Kay tungod man gud ning support sa siyang study nga daghan kay researchers before ning claim nga no, this tourism, this type of tourism is very popular, it can help improve the economy, it can help other people, no, have jobs. So mo na siya can generate income. Nakasabot ra sa murag ang importance of research. Hello?
Yes, me.
Okay. So, I know it's overwhelming, no? Kuan kay siya no kana ganing murag kana pa lang introduction na overwhelm na mo no na information overload na mo. But again, it's just an overview. Getting there, we have to take baby steps. Kay how can we make something so difficult, so complex if we don't take it one step at a time? And that's what I did, no? I just take it one step at a time. As of now, I only focus on what's important right now, which is no look for a title pa, no, or look for potential nga kuan, look for potential nga topics. So actually, research is everywhere. No, it's not only in tourism nga si research is implemented. No, research is present in science and technology and engineering, even in business. No, if kato kong you mentioned earlier, again, you cannot make good marketing strategies if you don't do research first on your target market or sa imuhang mga potential consumers on sa ilang needs and wants. You need to conduct research on that, no? Research is also in in the fields of humanities and social sciences. I did made mention of qualitative research. Qualitative research is more on, you know is more on the social sciences part, because you're going to observe participants. Like for example, si qualitative is more on layo i-discuss man ako na niya ning advance ko. Si qualitative is more on like I'm going to expose my participants in a certain like more is naka-stimulant ba no? I'm going to expose them in a certain environment, and then I'm going to observe for a couple of days what is their behavior when they are exposed in this environment, how they treat each other. It's like a social experiment, no? And then you observe their behavior, and then you do interviews with them. No, you do um group forums, no? So si qualitative has um doesn't make use of statistical data or numerical data, or no, statistical treatment and numerical data. Si qualitative is more on kuan siya, you know, like for example, I have 10 participants here. I'm going to interview them one by one. What is their perception on this issue, on this topic? Then I'm gonna write it down. And then I'm going to do that for like a week, no? Or for example, kung dili lang interview, kuan pod, no? Kato kong giingon earlier nga, expose ako sa certain environment, I'll just observe them from afar. I'll see if there are progress all throughout, like for the entire week. If na changes in their behavior, na changes in how the way they interact with each other. So yung ana, that's qualitative. Naput si research sa educational no nga sector, nor in the academe. Of course, no, it's always present because again, let's say you've seen some problems in the classroom that needs to be addressed. You've seen that your students are struggling when it comes to their IT proficiency, and you would like to test that out. No, so you can conduct a research about that. Or for example, you would like to know if it's the teacher factor or the student factor, why they have like failing grades when it comes to like math or science. No, is the subject too hard for them? Is it the way the teacher delivers their lessons? Things like that. No, that could also be like a basis for a research, no? So daghan maski asa ka, there will always be research. I used to remember my student would tell me na after tuning graduate sa senior high, ko ma'am wala man na research ang culinary ma'am, no? Ko I don't think so, because it's a skills based kind of koan, um and then research is sometimes applicable to courses jud nga that has like business, or for example kanang 4-year courses jud ang naay thesis, no, ang kuan kanang mga vocational nga courses wala man kaayo. But sometimes 9 months training, 6 months or 2 years, no. So wala kayo ang uban, like for example like ACT, like associate in computer technology, although 2 years naman na siya, but they still have like a capstone project. So in the IT department, they have like this capstone. It's much more difficult than your regular research paper, because in the capstone project, um like they're going to develop a system and make a thesis out of it. So like for example, I would like to develop like um a learning management system specifically for CSR. I'm going to program that, and I'm going to make a research paper, no? Like to also present no how my my system works, or if I'm going to develop like an ID system, and then I'm going to make a thesis also, so dungan, so mas lisod ang sa IT, um sa tuwa dili lang ta mapalisod quantitative lang ta. It's easier because although robust man ang questionnaire, ang process is more scientific compared to qualitative, but believe me when I say I find quantitative research much more easier than qualitative. It is because si qualitative mong good, nubo siya lang taon. No, many people are so deceived by the idea nga, ay, mag-qualitative study lang ko, kay nubo ra kaayo siya, compare sa quantitative nga, taas kaayo siya og content. Pero, pag abot na sa pag-execute, dira na ka maglisod. Kay, dili lang gud na siya basta-basta mo interview lang ka. Na kay mga ethical considerations and guidelines that you need to meet, and you need to really screen your participants, because one wrong participant lang, like nakay usa ka participant dira nga does not really fit, no, sa requirements mo sa imong research or sa imong pag-interview, that can really affect the findings of your study. And it takes a lot of time because, it's more of like an observation. Sometimes it would take like weeks or months because before you will see changes or developments. Unlike sa quantitative nga, if they are free, they can just answer, like you would only take 5 minutes of their time. Sometimes gani 3 minutes ra if nabuo imong questionnaire. So dali ra kay ka makakollect og survey, no? Labi na karon if it's online, no, we can just send link to our participants and then they will just answer it, no? So ingana na ano lang gud sila, na deceive sila kay naman gud statistical treatment si quantitative, no? Involve siya og statistics. So don't worry because you're not going to do that alone. You have your research advisor that will help you all throughout, which is, no, me. And then you also have like a statistician, no? You can consult Sir Abiliar. Um because of course you need the help of the statistician to help guide you, sir, unsa man ako statistical treatment aning ako ang survey, no? Or for example, sir, how will I get my survey questionnaire, unsa man ako ang sampling method gamiton. Oh, okay, so task kong introduction, no. Again, when it comes to research, are you like talking about it, no? And sometimes things that get out of hand, malapas ko og storya. So, um, let's try to understand the difference between quantitative and qualitative. I keep saying this earlier. So, if you would like to pursue um, a non-experimental type of research, so usually si quantitative has experimental man sad. Okay, so if you would like to pursue a much more, smoother approach, and then mas dali siya when it comes to data gathering, or when it comes to, the collection of like when you do your survey, or mag-conduct na mo og kanang kuan distribution of the research instrument, it is important that no, you pursue with quantitative, because quantitative research, no, is focused on acquiring numerical data through the use of research instruments. Research instruments are your survey questionnaire. No, sometimes we call it research instruments. So usually these research instruments are in the form of surveys and close-ended questionnaires. In quantitative research, numerical data are usually obtained from a large sample of population and are analyzed using statistical techniques. So in here, we will inject statistics, no, sa pag-identify palagdaan out of, let's say, out of 1,500 nga population, ani nga duha ka barangay, abi ato lang ibutang, you would just get like a sample size out of it to represent the entire population. You don't need to interview you don't need to conduct survey to 1,500 respondents. Dili na siya practical. Dugay kay human ana. Instead, you will just get like a representative population from the entire population. Kana ganing out of 1,500, kuha lang tag 10% or 15% out of the total population, so that they will represent, no, the entire population as the survey as the survey respondents. So that alone, it entails statistics. Second, when you conduct already your study, ay hindi pa di ay. Second di ay, when you validate and do reliability test, it still needs, it still needs statistics. Sige lang, I will help you with that, no, kay mo-undergo man jud mo ana. So for example, naghimo og survey questionnaire. Dili mo gud na siya basta-basta class nga maghimo ko questionnaire, oh, according i-distribute, pa-check na ako ni madam. No, you need to also test its validity and its reliability. So, ang validity is how valid it is no it comes to, like for example, ang content sa questions in your questionnaire, mo fit ba siya sa katong nasimong statement of the problem? At the same time, kanang dili ba siya simang, no, kay for example mo study is about, no, the potential of a city as a MICE destination, dapat inline jud ato ang questions, no, sa imuha nga study. So tabangan na pud ta mo ana, no, don't worry, I don't usually leave my students when it comes to ing ana, no, I personally check their questionnaires, I rephrase them if the need, if it needs, no, na the revising. I also give like consultations, no, like don't do this, mo ni siya imong ilisan, and then these are the things that you need to do when you conduct, when you do test of validity, o sing ana, no, so dili ta mo ingon pasagdan na, oh, mo ni siya ang kon ha, buhata din na siya kay yani kalisod ang ano, no, dili jud na siya pwede nga biyaan ra. And next test of reliability, so mag pilot testing ka, you will see if consistent ba ang answer sa imuhang questionnaire masking mag-pilot test ka. So, for example, mukuha kag 30 participants that are not part of your original respondents. So, kanang 30 ka participants, mag-pilot test ka to see if consistent ba ilang answers. E kung consistent, meaning they really understand the questions in your questionnaire, dili siya libog, no, kasabot sila dayon on what to answer. E kung magpataka or sila answer class, lain-lain ilahang tubag in each question, sometimes banggod, ang reason ana is di sila kasabot sa magpataka ra sila. So you need to really do something with your survey questionnaire. And then the next part, you know, and how to it's more on like group forums, no, mag ano sila, mag what they call this, interviews, no, more on observations. They keep like a diary, like every day they need to observe if naibay changes in the, no, behavior, naibay changes sa ilahang interaction. So si qualitative research, the end goal of the inquiry is to seek meaning and deeper understanding of the phenomena as seen from the perspective of the participants. Data collection in this research method involves observations, interviews, open-ended questionnaires, and focus group discussions. What do you mean by open-ended questionnaire? So, if for example, um, butang ka dira, other kuan pa jud, no, kanang mag, marag na kay kuan dira sa ubos nga other comments, no, unsa ba siya imong comments with regards to this topic. So open-ended siya, meaning depende na sa imuha na nga perspective, no, nga for me, my take on this issue is that, so it's open-ended, unlike sa closed-ended questionnaire nga limited na jud siya sa quantitative, limited jud sa yes or no, or 1 to 3 for 5, like kung scale ba siya, no, nga 5 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. So you cannot actually answer a different answer on the quantitative research questionnaire, because what what is written in the ano, the what do you call this, what is written in the options baron no sa imong questions, mo ra siya ni ansira nila, di sila pwede nga mo kuan pa siya no mo answer og lain nga wala dira sa options. Unlike sa qualitative nga it's open ended, no, okay, please write your no your perspective on this issue or comments about this ano, so sulat na sila. what do you think are the challenges of wala lain man tag perspective challenges of sulat na sila dira. So man nakalian sa qualitative. But again, I really don't advise you to pursue qualitative because it takes a lot of time. And again, we only have one semester. And quantitative, smooth flow na jud na siya. As long as you have the statistician with you, you'll do fine. No? And then with the advisor as well. So qualitative man good, again, no, kinahanglan jud ka og dapat pa jud ang imuhang survey questionnaire is it's ethical, no? And sometimes pa jud you have to make sure nga dili ma-compromise pod ang imuhang mga respondents knowing that these are actual people. You have to really what do you call this, make sure that you don't reveal their identity. I'll give you one example. No, when I presented my research paper in the Asian Virtual Multidisciplinary Research Conference last April, so iba nag-compete me each sector for each theme, like for example social sciences or kuan, we have to present our paper and then someone will judge us if kinsa ang best presenter. Nakulbaan ko sa kung usa ka kauban ato nga group kay inindot iyang study pod no. Ang iyang study is more on qualitative iyang approach. Ang PhD pa siya to iyang so ang iyang approach is more iyang study is qualitative and it's about he interviews women or kuan women nga frontliners no, health frontliners um during katong sa time nga nag-war no sa ilhang sa gawas no. I forgot asa to dapit basta somewhere in the Middle East. So he interviewed different participants, babae no. How did they cope with their work in the hospital no during the time of there was a war. And then dugay naman to iyang paper, I think mga 2005, 2006 na to siya. Gi-present niya sa panel. Unya nindot siya kay of course kuan man. Ang iyaha lang is he mentioned that when he did the interview nanago jud sila kay the information that the or they did it in secret because the information that the interviewee gave to the researcher, it's very sensitive. They were not allowed to talk about it, so they had to find like a secure place where they can talk about their tong experience during the war. And then for example what was it like as a frontliner no. So muna siya mauna ang mga kuan ang example no sa yang iha po to is gakolak po siya kay not everyone will agree man automatically for an interview. And then sometimes pa jud no it would take like days no for others to respond. So at so it's very ano niya and very sensitive kay qualitative, you have to really get it right no. You have to get it right to put sa quantitative pero si qualitative very sensitive mong good kay it's the actual jud nga account or actual jud nga experience ni respondent nga yung i-share sa ano, and you have to really protect that kind of sensitive information. Kaya again, dili na basta-basta classmate ko, uy, nag-answer to si Kuan ba? Atong classmate na ko sa ano niya. Amo niya mga answer sa survey questionnaire. Di na siya pwede, it's unethical. So, mo po na nga, mas maayo kung sa basic lang nga dili po kayo malisod-lisod no, the usual process of research paper. Pwede na jud ta mag-quantitative. Kinakasabot ra sa difference between quantitative and quantitative research.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, quanti lang po ta kay. Actually, um,
Yes,
try
ma'am.
me. Thank you. So, actually, try me og tudlo og mixed method. Di siya kaya sa kong powers. Kay, kung sa to am good nga field, di mo good ta part of like a psychology or kuan. It's really difficult for me to make like an observation ano kay so jud kaayo siya class. So, more jud akong ma-share about aning sa qualitative kay you have to make kaniging questions nimo mo himo po ka question sa taas-taas pa ni, no? I got carried away. So, I got carried away with the introduction alone pa lang. So, we will just stop here na lang guro sa kuan sa comparison. So, kuning humanon and then we will take a quick break, then we will proceed with mysterism. Okay. So, let's try to compare. No, although we already know naman the difference between qualitative and quantitative, to dig deeper pa jud on what is the difference between the two, it comes to like assumption, sampling, data collection, design, and hypothesis view of participants. So we really take no the real life or if you're going to make like a standardized questionnaire. So like for example, pars na ako no mo assess ko if ready ba si San Carlos City, if it has met all the requirements as a MICE tourism destination. Where will I get a basis to accurately measure the potential of our city? So mukuha ko sa ASEAN, mukuha ko sa DOT. So kana siya, nagkuha ko sa uban, it's objectively drawn, but again, it doesn't do away with reality because it's still reality, no? Pero kung ano siya, objective lang siya yun. Quantitative more on accurate jud siya nga like measurement. Nga it doesn't have to be biased. It doesn't need to be from a active. Sing ana si quantitative, no? Very robust. So in qualitative research, physical reality is understood from the perspective or stories of the participants. So again, no, very subjective, si qualitative. Research goal and purpose. So, si qualitative, iyahang goal and purpose is to understand social phenomena, seek meaning, and interpret reality as seen from the perspective, balik naman na siya, to gain insights, describe events and patterns, and increase understanding of ideas, feelings, beliefs, and motives of the participants. So, you're very, how do you call this, open to the different experiences. Validate si mong questionnaire, mag-validate mo ka, you have to make, kung mo validity and test of reliability to make sure that it is free from error. So, mana
Sorry,
mag-pilot
Dam.
testing ka.
Dam, sorry, Dam.
Ay,
Putol-putol ka, Dam.
ay hala, karon lang
Kaingay
or
Kaya
ka, Dam.
kanina.
ina, Dam.
Ay hala. Sorry.
Magputol ka usahay dam.
Unstable kay mong internet. Sorry kay class ha. How about now? Okay
Okay
na
na da.
siya. Okay. Basta unstable ko, please inform me immediately ha. Anyway, this is recorded man po. Hopefully sa recording dili siya putol-putol. No. Importante ka ni class nga mag-record pod ko kay I understand it's dili jud ni siya makuha diha dahil it's really difficult. So I really encourage jud nga mo join pod mo. Ang purpose sa recording is, for example, if there are things that you find, difficult to understand, you can kusog man sa akong phone, sa laptop hinay. Okay. So if there are things that are really difficult for you to understand, at least maka-review ra mo sa recording. Basta morning jud siya mo hinay ang internet. Okay, balik ta no. So I stopped at asa lagay ko ato. Okay. So importante siya nga, for example, pag tan-aw nimo sa DOT ug ASEAN, okay, wala may survey questionnaire nga mo align sa ako ang study, which is like for example, cultural tourism or agri-tourism. So maghimo na lang ko ako ang kaugalingon nga study ang nga survey questionnaire. Ako lang mo draft sa akong questions. For me to know that it is correct, moagi kog test of validity and test of reliability. Sa test of validity na ay 5 experts nga mo assess if sakto ba imong questions or mo align ba siya sa imuhang statement of the problem. If mo align gani siya and sakto imong questions, no, it's free from error, wala grammatical errors, ang content is under nang dali ra man sabtan, and then at the same time align jud siya sa imuhang sa study, then makapasar siya sa test of validity. Second test na mo undergo imong questionnaire is test of reliability, wherein, again, kato kung ingon na, mag-pilot testing ka to see if naabay consistency sa responses sa imuhang respondents. If wala, dili gani consistent, lain nilang answer, halos sila tanan, galain-lain, there is a possibility that, wala sa kasabot sa imong questionnaire, kaya there's something wrong, so you have to revise something and then do retest again. So yung ana jud ka kuan si quantitative. Pero dali naman na siya class, no? Lisod siya paminawon pero it took my senior high school students, it took them 1 week. They didn't actually know how to make one. Again, don't be discouraged nga, ma'am. Uy, gasulti ka, ma'am. Lisod man kayo, ma'am. Don't be discouraged. I have worked with students, senior high school students, and every time that I teach this subject, they're always first timers. Maski naa na sila subject ko no ana pag grade 11, it's really different ra. Kaya pag grade 11 man good, more man good to nga, oh, mo ni siyang types of variables ha, and wala jud kay nila magi-put into mind ba. Ilhara, i-memorize sa man good to na umam sa mga types of variables, wala jud na mo siya gi-understand og tarong. So, karon nga it's more on hands-on. So, ito pa sila nakakuan. So, dili ra ka angay magproblema na no. It would sometimes take like a week. When you do validity gani, sometimes 2 days, 3 days, labi na if nara dire ang mo validate. Kung mapa-validate ka, pwede man, sila ni Miss Jed, Sir Melbert, no, pwede kayo, or ako. Pero mas mayo dyan nga outside po, no, so pwede ta maka-ask po, like ni Sir PJ, no, to help validate those who really work in the tourism industry. At least 5 naman po na sila niya. Muhang pa ngayon, so mga 2 to 3 days, mahuman na. Tapos sa validity ka, mag-pilot testing ka, pwede gani, imuhang tingobon, pero wala mong guta sa face-to-face. Kung face-to-face pa na siya, dali ra itingob. So kung online, send the link and just do a follow-up, no? And then afterwards, no, when you collect it, no, muna din na siya. Patabang kang Sir Abiliar dayon. Usually, madalaga ni Sir Abiliar half day, tudlo siya sa on pag, um, you know, get the results of the test of reliability. So, dali ra. Dali ra jud na siya. Lisod lang ang process, no? But anyway, again, like what I've said, I'll be with you in every step of the way. Okay, next, to predict and establish relationships and generalize findings. So, that is for the research goal and purpose. Next is the sampling. So, ang sampling, may sampling class ang respondents, no? So, in what way do we get the respondents? Dili man ingon ko nga, kung kinsa ra kong makit-an dira, mo na kong i-respondent, hindi siya pwede. Again, you need to really screen your respondents, really choose the right respondents for your study because, your respondents can either greatly affect in a wrong way ang imuhang findings or they can really contribute to your findings. So dapat jud paladaan pag selective workers, female healthcare workers. Na-choppy ko, nakanugkog murag kuan. Okay na kung connection.
Okay na dam, balik na ka dam.
Okay. So for example, ang kamaot sa mong internet, oy, may to pag summer. Ay ko bantog na magwala-wala siya. Okay. So galantaw po ko sa akong cellphone. So sa sampling, no, sa qualitative, small siya kay of course ikaw kuno mo interview kag 150 respondents tagsa-tagsaon biya dyan na nimo. So usually naa na sa mga lima, pinakadaghanan na pulo, no, kung qualitative. O sayon paminahon no, pero sus ang pag take into account ana sulat nimo tagsa-tagsa imo pa nang interpret each. So for example, pulo sila ka buok, interpret pa nimo tagsa-tagsa. Unlike sa quantitative nga tiningob nga, ma'am, out of 100 respondents, 60 ang ning answer og yes, 40 ni answer og no. Oh, what does that mean? Oh, support dayon. Oh, support the findings. Pero ang sa qualitative, you have 10 participants. They have different, responses. Kaya of course, it's an interview. It's an open-ended jud nga response na tagsa-tagsaon jud na nimog interpret ang pulo ka buok. No? So, and you have to do it correctly. No? So, mapod na siya. Purposive siya, kaya again, para sa itong natabo sa katong kauban sa research conference nga wherein, healthcare workers dito ang iyahang i-interview. So, mamili din siya og healthcare workers who are Filipino and are female. So, it's purposive, no? And then, small ra, no? Mga 5 to 10. While sa quantitative, it's randomized and controlled for extraneous variables. Large samples are usually needed to represent the population. Like what I've said, no? You don't have to get like 20, that will not suffice. Ang pinaka lowest jud ganit daw ko no is 150. So for example, out of imong kuan na ang interpopulation for each barangay kay kung citywide ang imong study, you have to get a population for each barangay and then get a sample size for it. Like for example, there are 500 residents in this barangay. You will get a sample size. There's a computation. Pila ka percent out of 500 ang mo represent ni barangay 2 or ni barangay 1. Oh, so mo na siya, no? Na siya sample size to represent the entire population of this specific barangay. And it's randomized. Dili siya ingon nga, o kanita ng usa ka laray mo ni akong kwaon tanan. No, has to be randomized in the sense nga, random picking lang ta mga itag pangalan sa barangay hall niya ato nang i-roll ilang names baron or for example i-number na to na siya dayon magkuan ta random picking like every third number baron so 1 2 3 so sa number katong pangalan abi si Maritas na sa number 3 o siya akong kuan respondent next every third number sa entire list nimo ba so mo na siyang pasabot ana ano niya for example kisa sa number 6 o si Susan sa number 6 o siya akong kuan as respondent pwede ing ana no pero kana pug kaayo siya kuti na pud kaayo no. But that's what I mean about randomized, meaning you don't really choose your respondents, you do it randomly. So if you would get like, let's say out of 500, you would get 150 or 200, then random picking ka, no? Ma'am, hatag ko questionnaire. Kung kinsa ra diri ang muagi ma'am basta kaabot og 200 muagi diri sa barangay hall. So mo na yung tagag survey questionnaire ma'am paansira lang kadali or magtabi karon na mag-vaccination dira ya paansira nimo questionnaire. No, yung ana, no, random ra jud siya. Dili siya ingon nga specifically kani jud taga first street ra kung kwao no, dili na siya. And very large ilang sample compared to qualitative. Okay, next data collection procedures or techniques includes document collection, participant observation, unstructured and informal interviews, intensive field notes, review of artifacts, and focus group discussions. So very kuan kay siya no. Again, ang data collection ani ni qualitative daghan kaayo. Mag document collection pa ka, document in the sense ka not only mag-picture ka nila pero tanan na tanan isulti nila imo na labi na magbisaya sila imo pa jud nang i-translate imo na isulat ang Bisaya ibutan nimo sa imong thesis i-translate pa jud mo siya English so yung ana no and then sa quantitative lahi no just a test questionnaire it may be like a 10 item 15 item questionnaire pwede ra jud na siya no 20 item questionnaire and then mo mo distribute and then yes or no ba or from scale 1 to 5 no 5 ang highest 1 ang lowest. So lahi sila duha when it comes to collecting data. Research design. So evolving and flexible. Now, in qualitative class, you are not advised to read ahead, no? Like mangita ka og references online, magbasa-basa ka per kabalo ka unsay mong i study no because you need to be really unbiased as a researcher. So you are not going to read further resources to support your study. Unya ra jud na kamungita og review of related literature or additional references or resources to support your study once you are done in the interview process. So pabali siya lahi sa quantitative, you need to read review of related literature first for you to have an idea where to start, what kind of title that you would like to pursue, and then what kind of problems you would like to present in your statement of the problem. So okay ra siya diri pero sa qualitative dili jud no and it's evolving. Take for example ngano evolving man ang kuano ang research design. Take for example ning decide ka nga longitudinal type grabe mong study or for example o mo ni siya kung research design nga gamiton ma'am samtang gasugod pa lang ko og study dayon pag ko nga lisod jud kaayo siya class. Wala na pud ko. So constantly evolving na siya, no? And then ko ana kanang dili ka point out unlike sa quantitative nga oy okay descriptive quantitative jud ni akong research design ako na ni siyang na identify sa sunugdanan pa lang sa akong study until mahuman akong study descriptive quantitative version na akong design lahi sa qualitative nga pag interview nimo dito oy dili man di ay ni mao ako ang design gipili dili mo fit sa responses sa ako ang gi-interview. So, ako na pong ilisan, no? And then sometimes gani mailisan pud ang imuhang kuan, ang imuhang review-related literature. So, yung ana si qualitative no constantly developing. Dili nimo siya ma-point out automatically nga mao ni siya nga design until mahuman ka sa imong study. Because sometimes ma-uncover man good nimo nga there is something much more deeper once you interview your respondents. So, mo na sa research design sa qualitative. That's what makes it so difficult. Okay, characterized by non-intervention and procedures that have minimal disturbance to the participants and the research setting. While the quantitative use of robust instrumentation that is designed and structured to verify the hypothesis set at the beginning of the inquiry process. It usually involves an intervention and manipulation of variables. Let's now proceed to the hypothesis. So, tentative, again, it also evolves in the course of the study. So, ga-evolve ra jud always, no, ang imong hypothesis, research design, kaya again, mag-agad ra jud siya sa responses sa imuhang pag-interview sa respondents nimo. Unlike sa quantitative nga very specific nga kabalo na jud ka nga okay mo ni akong hypothesis kay na determine na ako kung research design at the beginning pa lang daan sa akong study. Oh. So dili na ka mag-usab, no? Naraguri ma-change ana siguro ginagmay ra like ato lang i-revise gamay ang title ang statement of the problem per di siya to drastically ka mausab unlike sa qualitative. Okay, generalizability. Wow, that's wordy. Okay, so ang generalizability for qualitative assumes that each individual culture or research setting is unique. Because of this uniqueness, generalizations are dependent on the context of the study. While in quantitative, it assumes that a researcher can discover laws of nature that may add to reliable predictions and control the phenomena. During inquiry process, the researcher seeks for regularities in samples of individuals or groups. Data analysis. So si qualitative, very ongoing and inductive. No, again, very evolving. Balik. Ay, kapait. Mo siya ni siya gahapon. Bala na siya ako nga online class. Ay, summer, sini? Online class nagsugod na kay unstable ng internet connection. Unlike sa, ay, okay. Ah, account.
Account.
Okay,
Okay,
nanaday ko.
nanaday ko.
Si Miss Keisha di ay mo meet di ay natoon niya kay yato mahangyot ato siya nga i-Saturday ang Meisterism pero okay na di ay kay 8 a.m. O pero naan ako, lantaw ko sa kong cellphone na anak ko. Kamaot, uy ga, research pa jud. Mo na siya class 8 a.m. jud ta magklase. Okay na, sisi. Mo nang 8 a.m. jud ta magklase sa research kay maabtan ta o hinang internet. Isod kaayo. So, supposedly ang mais ipabalhin na manghangyo to si Miss Keisha kay conflict ko no siyang Rizal. Unya okay na di ay kay 8 a.m. man di ay ang Rizal. So, di na siya ma-conflict na sa mais tourism. Wala man siya research karon. No? Usara man niyang gi-advance sa fourth year kay third year pa man siya. Okay. So, asa na ko? Very very precise si quantitative, no? And si qualitative, it's ongoing and inductive. Analysis is repeated until a plausible and credible explanation of the data is arrived at. While si quantitative is deductive and statistical. This implies that numeric data are subjected to statistical analysis that may involve descriptive, parametric, non-parametric, inferential, and analytical procedures. The very quite common statistical analysis nga nasa research paper, especially if you're using quantitative, is either descriptive, kung yes or no, and then sometimes inferential if you have inferential questions in your statement of the problem. Who will decide on the statistical analysis? Sorry, statistical analysis. It will be the statistician. So, dili mo ang yung problema mo, so mani ma'am, math mani ma'am, di ko kabalo. That's the time that you will consult your statistician. Sir, kanang gahimo na kog methodology. Mota na tani Mr. ba unsay statistical treatment among gamiton ani sir? Mo ni mong statement of the problem sir ay mo ni mong title. O mo na siya, kuan inyong gamiton simple percentage method o kuan ANOVA, no, or t-test or z-test. Kung sir di mo kabalo unsaon ng ANOVA o t-test z-test sir oy og kanang simple percentage. So, don't worry, tuluan na dito mo. Mo man na ang role ni statistician. Dili dyan mo biyaan, no? As long as you continue the process. Kay, di mo na ingon nga, mora na yung buhaton niya. Kamu na bahala figure out. No. It's not like that. In research, you have to really consult the help of your statistician, your research advisor. Even gani supposedly, appeal po tani dira si grammarian. Pero, I have Grammarly man pod, no? Kuan na po siya premium. So, ako na ang Grammarly lang ato ang himuog grammarian. Okay. So, the data that you will get from qualitative is again, no, field notes, summarize for codes, observations, patterns, and themes. Role of researcher. So, ang role ni researcher sa qualitative, deliberately interacts with the participants in a personal way. So, ganun siya. Of course, no, because you're conducting interview. It may be through phone, it may be through voice, or, no, sorry, it may be through video call. Yeah, it cannot be mo i-record, no? Kung mag-qualitative study ka, mag-interview ka nila, i-record na mo, pati ang phone call, you have to record it. Or if you're going to meet them personally, it has to be recorded. and you have to write everything that they say word for word. So um you have like a personal interaction with the respondent. And then you're free to use your intuition and judgment as basis for deciding how to frame questions or how to conduct observations. When you make questionnaires or questions in a qualitative study, you make use of your intuition and judgment of the situation. So it's very subjective. While in na pa di ay sorry. Galanto ko sa kung screen diri sa ubos. Wala anong goy-goy naong. So si quantitative, very objective, impartial, and detached. I cannot actually make contact with you. That is, ko ano, for example, ako researcher, quantitative akong study, mo survey ko ninyo. Dili ko pwede mo kamaot sa
Kamaot sa
internet.
internet.
Okay, okay. Ipadayon ta. Okay. Let's continue. Happy to shoot tumahuman. Tani makalahutay. Okay. So, for example, no, yes or no ang questions dira niya. Ikaw kay bias mo kay ka nga pagka-person niya. Lantaw ka dira. Ugoy, no man tanan niyang answer niya. I was really hoping he would answer yes. Dili pwede ka manghilabot, no? Di na siya pwede. Dili, you cannot influence your respondent. Dili sa quantitative, you just let him be kung sa iyahang i-answer. No? Because that's his answer. That is what he perceives in your question, no? So, also the role of the researcher in quantitative, there is intersubjective reliability. Thus, researchers adhere strictly to scientific method or to a formal set of procedures in collecting and analyzing data. Now, I would like to share with you, let me just stop my screen, okay? That's the last ko naman. Okay. So let me share with you an example of how I collect data, most especially during the time of the pandemic. There is actually a scientific method. We don't just like, okay, palihog kag answer sa akong questionnaire. No, what I did is I gave them like a research informed consent form. This includes unsa ang information about the research, how they will be protected. Kay again, ha, dili ni basta-basta mag-survey ta. Sa'yo na kaisulti sa bana, pag-survey na mo, no, kanang mga walay pakialam nga maista, dili jud na siya pwede. It has to be like ethical, kuan jud nga tong i-follow. Like for example, ako lang i-share guro sa inyo, ha, no? Para mas masabtan ninyo. Unya, class ha, ang ako ang paagi sa pagklase, na ako'y in theory, like, tuluan ta mo unsa ni variables, unsa ni siya. Pero naapod tay workshop session, meaning tudloan jud ta mo unsa jud ang itsura, like unsaon pagsulat og title, unsaon pagsulat og um si tawag ani unsaon pagsulat og statement of the problem, like hands-on jud siya, naa jud ko'y sample ipakita sa inyo, an actual research paper jud para naamoy idea, no, kay sumayon ko nga mo ni unod sa research title, ha, mo ni unod sa statement of the problem, pero wala ta mo gipakitan og sample. How will you know, 'di ba? So mo po na akong paagi on niya. Para at least sayon lang pud sa inyo, ha. Kung giunsa ako pagtabang ang senior high, mo po na akong gamiton sa inyo hapon. Asa na to ako ang pasensya jud kaayo class kay nangita ko sa daghan kay maanad-anad na mo unya nga basta mag-thesis na mo. Daghan kay mo og daghan kay mo folder thesis ray unod. I already have all throughout my research life, jud no, nga for 1.5 year. I have 6 folders niya, puros ra thesis nga copy tanan. Disconnect ko. Naray Japon ko, pasensya. Lantaw-lantaw ko sa kong kaugalingon. Pages jud ni ang research informed consent form. Okay. Zoom in lang guro ninyo. Ako lang i-try zoom in pod. Para dili jud siya ko. Ano wala siya gaload dire. Okay. Makita ra class.
Yes, dam.
Yung title, completion of your degree, and then nara Japon ko. Kuan lang ko ha. And then study procedure sir, ipa-check daw ni Ina, sir, kung on ba ang plangka sa faculty. Work from home na lang guro ko. Okay. Feedback, sorry. So if you are going to look here, i-chat lang ko ninyo, mawala ko class ha, kay nang join ko sa Google Meet. Hello? Naara Japon?
Yes, dam.
Okay.
You can
Unsa day internet sa school?
Inay guro te.
Mm. Ni hapon ta.
Sige, te.
Napatay isa ka subject day, no?
Iyara Japon te.
Mm.
Sauban diyang maestra.
Mao daw
Kaambot
tong
talaga.
subject katong design ni mo day. Mao daw to subject. Schedule.
Katong gisend ako sa GC, te.
Mm. Sus ba?
Hello. Na-stress ko sa internet. I will just transfer in the admin office in the second subject. Okay. So, just to summarize na lang no kay ambot lang if I can still present the I'm using my data na lang sa kong cellphone sa PCAS kay para maka-monitor ko if naa pa ba Japon ko. Okay, so here you can see that of course naa tanan if the respondent feels very uncomfortable, if they do not want to answer the questionnaire, then of course they can withdraw their participation. Di siya to sila pugson. So it's really important no nga you have this process ba nga you ask permission, you ask if they are comfortable, you assure them if you assure them that their participation will not compromise their job. Baka na may uban good nga, ay, if I answer this, I might get fired because I will release like sensitive information or masuko akong kuan if I will respond. No, so just reassure them that this is for academic purposes. You're not going to release their identity and you're not also going to, release the responses. Basta you assure them that you're going to keep the data for this amount of time, and once you are done using the data you're going to delete it if it's online, no, or like for example online nga survey, are going to keep it securely and you're going to delete it, or if it's paper ba siya, hard copy nga questionnaire, then they're going to destroy the data through paper shredder. So yung ana ra siya class no. Daghan pa diri naa pa sa ubos potential benefits nila, privacy and confidentiality, their participation and withdraw from their research paper. Wala Japon ko. Naara ko. And then, of course, contact information. If they have like questions or clarifications, so they will know who to contact. So you also need to assure them that they have, their right to, of course, know what we do with their responses. So, dito na, no? And adherence to data privacy. Dili man jud ingon nga i-force sa mga students magpa-load nila no. So you can like, choose another kuan nga can access your research questionnaire. And research to inform Hi, so I know you weren't able to get the last part. No, murag dito na to kutob sa, but you were able to. Hello. Hi, so sorry. Okay. I hope that you were able to get like the context of the research informed consent form. Anyway, wala pa man ta naabot ano. Murag, I was just explaining how, data collection is a process. um you have to inform your respondents ahead, and you have to do it, like, for example, inform them everything about your research before you ask for their consent. Then afterwards, once it's done, no, that's the time that you will get the survey questionnaire. Then lang so nako i-elaborate further kay medyo baga-baga magtaas-taas jud to siya, no? 3 pages to siya ang informed consent form, asking permission from your respondents, reassuring them that the data will not be released publicly. No, so later na siguro na once you reach in chapter 3. But I hope, even though, no, because of the internet disruptions and all, you were still able to understand like a bit of our discussion this morning. Okay, do you have any questions for me before you will end? Like, we will take a short break. I will just transfer to a room where stable ang connection. Hello?
Wala na, dam.
Oh, wala jud ko. We will take a short break. Madungog ra Japon ko ninyo, Christensen.
Yes, dam.
Yes, dam.
We will take a short break. Okay, thank you. I will just transfer. Anyway, this is recorded naman ang session. As long as you were in the session, wala man mo ning nawala, it recorded naman siya. Um, we will take a short break.
Yeah.
So again, students, you may leave the room now so that I can stop recording as well. Then balik lang ta for I'll give you like 5 minutes break. Then we'll return. I'll give you a new link for my tourism.